Okay. This is recorded from Arlington, Vermont. Wait. Hold that thought. This is. Gotta mute YouTube. Sorry about that. And I'll get back over here. That. It's been a while since I've forgotten to add the live stream. So this is the first time doing it live. This is Happy Valley Hobbies being recorded in Arlington, Vermont. This is Happy Valley Hobbies, and these are hobbies that make me happy. Looks like we might have to dive straight in, because I didn't, since I didn't schedule this, and just went live. There wasn't any no one got notifications, so for a while I'm assuming it's going to be pretty quiet in the chat. Then eventually people will start showing up as they go, oh, here it is. So in that case, then we will switch cameras and go straight on. All right. Leaving off of where I was last week, which was adding the road bed. Should be thoroughly dried by now. Yeah, as long as I don't drop the clamps that I was using. All right, put the clamps away and drop them. So whatever. I'm going to see about adding more scenery stuff, obviously. Eventually, I'm also going to add the tracks, but we'll go from there. All right, so we're going to add more stuff from the front. Let's see, what are we going to add? Let's say we we're going to add some more glue to everything. I happen to realize that I completely forgot to wash out the acid brush. Theoretically, I got a lot more of these around. Forgot where I put them. Well, hello there, Dwight. Thank you for coming in. Looks like you're right now the only one on deck. All right. So I'm moving this down here because this is where we're gonna add glue and stuff. Hopefully that this is in frame. It's barely in frame. Don't know where Wigwag is at this point. My assumption is thing is I didn't make a have this scheduled, so I just wound up going just live. So there's a possibility he has not gotten a notification. Which is okay, because I mean it's my fault I didn't pre-did everything. Well, I just happened to realize that I should have for this one had some rock castings made, so they could put it on the front here. A couple of errant hairs on this. All right. But it'll probably, willing to bet he will show up within before I log off. Now this portion is probably out of picture. I just barely make it in. There we go. This way a little bit. A lot of things in HO scale modeling is rinse and repeat. So that's what I'm doing here. Pretty much doing what I was doing before. Probably not as much not as much as I was doing. Now the challenge here is because since it's more on a slope, it won't fit straight on like it was on the other style of scenery. But that's okay. Also not going directly up to this because this is going to be covered in ballast. What am I putting on here? This is Green Ground Cover by Art Minds. I believe I got this from Michaels or through Michaels. And pretty much using different flavors of it. Where this one's dark shrubbery. Just to give different variations because nature is so I want to say so variant that it looks uh, it looks uniform when it actually is not. This is evergreen, which I believe, since it doesn't have the art mines on it, this is probably Woodland Scenics that I have bought. Let's see, this is medium green accent. And then, let's see, got medium green accents, got this. Let's see, this is underbrush. Haven't opened this one yet, so that one we don't need yet. And we got some dark green clump foliage, which I'm going to be add a little bit over here, a little over there. Try not to drop them on the floor. That's almost like an actual bush. I have to add some more glue. But yeah, today on STS, I believe it's John from Schuylkill Valley River is on tonight. Got some of this super moss from, I believe this is also from Michael's. Wander lasting, reusable, retains moisture, phyla. Currently available at supermoss.com. Do that there. And then we'll plop this moss. Try to hide the fact that there's a seam there. That's what I'm mostly doing here on the front portion here, because there's seams from where the original diorama was and then the addition to. Here's where one of the other seams are. One of the obvious seams. Actually, this is where the seam is, but there's a second seam here. So we'll pull this one out. And then, yeah, we'll go this way on this one. One of the things that, a lot of times I found out that Hello, Randall. Thank you for coming in. The glue. This is just Elmer's all-purpose glue. I guess it's called PVA for the non-brand version. All right, so let's go this direction. I got the glue at one of the dollar stores. All right. So thinking of possibly adding some random rocks. This has got to be filled in a little bit better. So yeah, this is basically dollar store glue. When I added it to when I originally sprayed it and all that, this is water with a little dish soap in it, just to make it so the glue could be more, well, it lets the glue be more dissolved. This is just not the one that's open. Oh, I have some stuff that's open. There we go. Here's for stuff that's open. These are medium green. I also got light green. So we're going to add some more under where the bridge is. I'm using the lighter foliage more on the bottom here, mainly because because under a lot of solid ridges, I want to say that's where they don't show as much light. So it would be naturally less dark underneath. And that's why I'm going much lighter underneath and then using mostly darker on the outside with some light sprinkled in. Maybe we say wigwag 3 times and all that. Maybe he will appear. All right, that should be okay for now. Also, another thing I've noticed with stuff that's done in real life, uh, you usually do not see the edges on a small stream like this. That's why I'm sort of over putting the foliage over, because you usually don't see the actual uh, foliage. That's light green. Now go to medium green. I mean, there is a possibility, since you didn't get the notification, that you wound up finding a different one to hang out, a different chat to hang out with, which is okay. This is also theoretically a very long weekend in the United States, and I believe Wigwag is in the U.S. I could be wrong. All right, there's a chunk that looks like it could go right there. I'll add glue later on. Trying to get small pieces out of this bag. I'm starting to think I should use this as a waterfall, because it is, quote, falling off the module. So we got a small thing of moss, which I think I could put that there as a thing. There's a leaf. Let's see, there's like an island of rocks here. So we'll throw. Might be a little bit hard to see, but it's there. Because, the bridge is going to be over here, so most of the scenery here you're not going to see. Let's see about watering this section down. Thing is, I want to add some stuff and all that, but I don't want to have it too busy. Adding that sprig there, a little bit of that. Actually, a smaller one there. Yeah, and also it usually doesn't go straight either. I was looking at a stream today, and it's like, it depending on how the water is, depends on what the bed is, because usually if the water's really low, you can actually see where the how it sort of kind of snakes. But as there's more and more water, that gets covered over, and you don't see it as much. So the next diorama, I'm going to see if I can duplicate that meandering level of how the different levels are. And I know it's one of those things I never noticed on how things could be in that particular direction. But yeah, all right. So let's see. Yeah, Wigwag still hasn't shown up yet. You have to say it out loud instead of actually just typing it in. Yeah, let's actually have to hold it on for a while it dries. All right. Let's see what can I do to hold that there without me having to hold it. There, that'll work. A small piece of moss right around here. I'll hide the base of that tree. That's another thing is that seems that in the real world you don't actually really see the base of the tree. There's usually either fields of grass or something that's covering them up, unless you're actually in the forest itself. But since these are not right in the forest, I'm going to see about different ways to hiding the bases. And also, speaking of hiding bases, there's a base here that you can't quite see because of the camera angle. But there's this place where I can actually see a base. There's already a lot of clump stuff around there, so we'll add this instead. All right, that's hidden. That's hidden. All right, another one over here. I can see the plastic bits on it. So we'll turn around and add. Since there's a lot of dark around here, we'll add a bit of brightness. Oh, this is dark, or this is medium. We're looking for bright. There we go. There's another pine tree that could probably use a little brightness to the bottom of it. Yeah, Schuylkill Valley Railroad is on Sidetrack Sunday tonight. Now, out of the group, he actually starts a little early, but he has like a 5 minute intro basically. Yeah, let's add some a little bit lighter color to the front here. Nothing too drastic. But I might have to turn around and make a couple of rod castings for the front here. But once now the road has been dry and all that, so my next project is probably adding ties for this. And get ready to reinstall the bridge. I think I did my best to hide where things are going. But it's one of those things that sometimes with scenery, it's not until it actually is done that you can actually go, oh, okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z to it. Like, as I said, trying to do a better job of hiding this. Hiding the edge of the stream. All right, so add more here. Try not to make it look squished. And now we'll add some dark clumps here and there. Oh, hello there, Sparky. Thank you for coming in. Thing is, we've been chanting Wigwag because Dwight is wondering where he is. So we've been chanting his name. Hopefully, he'll come. This did not stay. All right. It looks like it might stay on its own now. Cross all the fingers, I guess. And it's a relatively quiet night. I'm assuming because, one, it's a long weekend, so there's probably a lot of people nowhere near their computers or electronic device or even cell phone service. But that's what you spent for a long weekend. All right, looks like it. That's the thing is, I'm still learning about scenery, so it's a lot of times I'm pretty much winging it. Let's go over here and add some lighter splash of stuff right here. And I think the hardest thing when it comes to scenery is know when to stop going. Like, instead of like, well, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this, and then it's like, now it goes from looking not right, and then it gets to a point of going like, it's looking close to what you want it, and then all of a sudden you just keep on going, and then all of a sudden it starts going the opposite direction. Like it goes into a it's starting to look proper and all that, and then all of a sudden it just looks too crowded. So it's one of those things of trying to figure out what that balance is. All right, there's a white spot that looks completely out of place, so we'll add more. And then turn around and add a small clump of lighter stuff on top of it to hopefully disguise that there's a lump of stuff in the middle of the way. All right. No. Get back up there. All right. Now, what can we do to sort of keep that from falling down? All right. Well, hopefully that pair of pliers will keep it there until the glue dries. Let's see. Well, speaking of paint drying, I couldn't get this part here because that's where the clamps were. Now I guess I can turn around and open it up and turn around, and of course I need this to open the paint can after thoroughly shaking it. Yeah, basically the paint is something that was it is a flat finish and all that, but it's one of those things of this was made and then the customer didn't like the color, so it became an unwanted color. But since it is brownish, it does make for decent ground cover color. All right, what am I putting in this open area? Eventually, that's going to be a small pond. Hence why there's hopefully a suggestion of where the pond is going. But haven't gotten that far yet. I think I might be doing that possibly after. Possibly after putting the bridge in. That's what my current plan is, so I'm not quite sure. It might be after or before I put the bridge in. I'm not quite sure yet. let's see, it's a little thing is it still has some of the older paint that I had, which was also a unloved color, which is slightly darker, that I was using as a base coat, but had to turn around and see about doing something else. But yeah, this is going to be a shallow, pretty much a shallow stream. Or shallow shallow pond, which could at times overflow and all that, and it's just sort of going through there. It's one of those things of probably heavy rainfall is probably not the smartest thing. All right, now we're going to flip this up and try to put this back up here again and have it dry. If it stays there. All right. So that'll stay there. And this looks a little bare. Let's see. Yeah, we'll go with a small thing of light green right there. It's one of those things that don't go too much on it. So this looks like it's mostly one piece. There's a smaller piece there. Put white glue on this. Put it like right there. Take a dab at this, and we'll put it right there. Yeah, right now with these, I'm just aiming for places that they'll stick and all that. Probably for the quote top of this, I might be using a diluted matte medium for this. It might quote unquote look dirty, but you're actually looking at the quote bottom of the of it. I might actually turn around and grab some darker stuff, maybe some of the weathering mix from Hunterline, and then get the creosote black, which has a slight blue tinge to it, and then paint that there. Then that maybe mixing it in with some matte medium and all that, so it winds up not looking monotonish. But yeah, I think right now maybe next week After everything dries, tilt this up and then add some more ground cover to this because, being almost like a cliff and all that, they're not really staying where I put them. So that's, it's one of those things of, hey, I learned something that it's not going to quite work that way. So, yeah. All right. So, next time, might wind up after after making these more tie colored. The very boring thing of laying ties next week, possibly. Not quite sure yet. One thing I have been doing is I haven't really been, there's like an overarching plan, but for individual setups and all that, I haven't really been okay. I'm doing this week, this week, this week. It's still sort of kind of up in the air what I plan on doing. I know Rick from False Valley says, "Oh, I can never leave a project; it has to get done and all that." Me, yeah, it's not quite there yet. I might wind up doing diluting some more matte medium, and then so the water level is a little bit over these maybe. Not quite sure. Would have to definitely dam the ends if I do that, and then try to add more stuff on it. But, even though like right here you can sort of see underneath and all that, but at the same time I'm thinking, says, well, at least that it looks right. This right here doesn't quite look right, but it's one of those things of Jim Kello. One of the things that he usually says, how do you know you're done? And I know, to me, the valley itself looks done. Not so much on the sides of it yet, but eventually I think I'll eventually get it so it will, quote, look done. But right now I almost want to say I want to leave the valley alone. I'm still poking, especially this right here. I'm still definitely going to be poking at the, basically here, and here. This, yeah. I want to say this also looks to me done. All right. Unload the color to. Hold on a second. You get closer to read that last line. Too funny. Which color are you talking about specifically, Sparky? Which color? I mean the. Well, if you're talking about like the rocks and the base coat, I do have I took pictures in. Oh, okay, gotcha. Unloved color, yes. Yeah, because it's one of those things that are going like, oh, this is not the color I wanted, so they just unlove it. So the thing is that every and until a thing of paint actually goes solid and all that, it's usually not uh, it's usually not a bad color. It's just that sort of like almost like weeds. Weeds are unloved plants because they're not supposed to be there, but not starting a new build yet. I would have to say the next one is already planned because I have a diorama that has a queen post bridge. This is expanded diorama that had a covered bridge on it, basically making the diorama the same size. These both kits were woodland kits. Well, the thing is, what I'm doing with the third one is that I do have there was something I wanted to do that, as far as I know, is not really modeled that much, and that is what's called a covered truss bridge. Whereas a covered bridge is a complete, the entire structure is enclosed and pretty much almost looks like it looks like a house without ends on it. But covered bridges are expensive, and there is a variation that's cheaper to build, but also doesn't last as long, which is called an uncovered truss bridge, where instead of cover the entire bridge complete with roof and everything, the uncovered truss bridge just covers the trusses. So this in the center is still exposed, but the supporting members are enclosed on both sides. So it looks like just basically somebody made a wooden wall across. I want to say there's a narrow gauge 2-footer, 2-foot gauge heritage railway now that just recently rebuilt their covered truss railroad bridge. And I forgot exactly the name of it. I want to say WW and W, something along those lines. Winsacets, I think. But they've that's what my next diorama is going to be, is doing a covered truss bridge. I got a book that actually goes into the covered bridges of Vermont, and they actually have that in the book, because it's until I bought this book, I didn't know there was such a thing as a covered truss bridge, because they you type in covered bridge, and 90% of the time, pretty much 90.7% of the time, you're going to get what you'd think is a covered bridge. But every now and then you would get it'd be rare, but every now and then you would get a covered truss bridge. They do not show up even if you put covered truss bridge in the search engine, it rarely comes. Even then, it rarely comes up unless you actually know the name of a specific bridge. But that would be my next exploit. It'll be using a different variation of where I work at now. We make mattresses, and we get bolts of cloth, and they usually have these things that are designed to keep the cloth from bouncing all over the place when being transported. And this is actually the one I'm going to be using for the next one. If if I remember correctly, yeah, this one went from here to here for a smaller diameter bolt of cloth, and this is for a larger diameter bolt of cloth. And so that's what my idea for this one is. It's one of those things I almost want. Wish I went with the open end, the open end on this one, because it looks like I might have to, like build like almost like a partial trestle on each side, so you can get to the center. And I'm not sure if I'm not sure if it would look right with a covered truss bridge. Either that, or I have to figure out a way to suggest that it was built as a trestle and then they added rock on top of it. That's probably that'll probably be the way I go with that one, as a setup up with that. Well, it looks like it's starting to be that time to get ready to shut down, so people can take a break. With John, he usually does it ahead. Does a 5-minute thing ahead of time. But yeah, it's one of those things of now it's getting close to time for John at Schuylkill Valley. At Schuylkill Valley Railroad. He's on the sidetrack Sunday tonight. Well, since I have nothing really to say, I guess I'll do the outro. Thanks for everyone for coming. We didn't really have many people, but since I didn't notify anyone ahead of time and all that, I guess that's the reason for that. But hey, live and learn. I wasn't even doing the setting up for things ahead of time for a while, so that's where I get yes, good stream, bad wig. Yes. All right. I'll see you later, Curly and Randall and Sparky. Thank you for coming in, Sparky. I wasn't expecting somebody. Well, we're expecting Wigwag, not you, but we will still like you anyway. All right. In fact, as I would have to say, as Opa Dodge would say, you have been knighted. I would have to say I tried to make people moderators, people that I've seen in different places and all that. And if they're show up, especially if they show up a lot, like normally Wigwag does, might as well make them moderators. But I guess that'll be it. So this actually works out to 7:45. So I did manage to blubber around until 7:45. But well, everyone in America enjoy their Labor Day weekend if they have Labor Day off. All right, see you later, Curly, or Dwight, I should say, and everybody else that joined in on the chat. So the way I look at it is that the world needs more love. So find your passion, add some silliness to it, and spread it around.